Hello. All right. So it is a long time since we've done the last video like this. Uh, July 20th, Tuesday, 2021. This is, I'm going to still call it Cycle 8, Chapter 1, Part 8, or Iteration 8 of the Yormish Full Body Workout. And a couple things have changed on this, I should say, stuff. More changing. Some factors in my life have changed, so this is changing as well. Certain things opened up, certain things closed down. Won't get into too much detail, but we'll do the public service announcement first. And by the way, if there's anybody in the world that's having a happy birthday today, happy birthday. All right. Please do not waste your time watching this video unless you have a very specific reason to watch this video. All right, now we got that out of the way. All right. So, what's changed? What's going on? I kind of almost got into it a little bit as far as like a new possible progression, a lazier possible progression. Doing just a single set till I kind of get tired. And the whole thing is, I haven't been consistent lately. The consistency, to be honest with you, has been beyond shabby. And I've probably been eating more than I should, though I've been basically sticking to at least 16 hours of fasting every day. But I want to put a few more hours into that and drink some more water and do some more walking and do some more exercising. But it's not always just more. It's kind of how you place the habit and just the habit of getting the stuff together. Even though at the end it seems worth the payoff, it's just sometimes not worth it. So minimizing transitions between things. I've noticed that in some exercise, the transition of adding weight and taking off weight is a bit of transition time, so I'm kind of getting rid of that. Basically, I'm just doing this. I think if I do this, my goal almost every day is, hey, if it takes 20 minutes, it takes 20 minutes. Gives me a time to talk and think about it, and that's probably a good thing. Wish happy birthday on hopefully if I do this 365 days, 366 days in leap year, and do that every day, I'll be wishing whoever has a birthday every single day. So basically wishing the world a happy birthday. So that's what consistency gives me. At this point on, if I do this every day, I get to wish the whole world a happy birthday. Okay. And that seems like a nice little caveat happy thing to start out the screen like this. It's also going to be a division point because this is, some days, is just going to be the pre-workout. Not necessarily the warm-up, but kind of a pre-workout, and then a couple hours later get to a far more focused workout, whether it be a burnout or seeing if I can do a challenge. Maybe the challenge is, let's see if I can do 50 air squats. Okay, cool. And see how many sets that takes. Or, 50 chin-ups and see how many sets that takes. And maybe I'll videotape that, maybe I won't. Or film it, maybe I won't. I don't know. So that's the idea behind this. Basically that full body workout, but really focusing on location. Location being this area right here, a little bit in that area, and that area over there, and then there's an area back over there. So there's basically 4 areas, and doing as much exercise as I can in this area first, move it to there, and in the back with some of the mostly leg stuff, which is kind of weird because you think I'd be all pooped out but I'll be pooped out in a different way, and the legs will be hopefully ready to go. All right, so without further ado, yeah, basically the idea behind this is, once I'm done talking, be quiet, do the workout with breath. That'll be basically 4 repetitions. In some cases, half repetitions, like with the stomach rollers. half the repetition will be part of the breath, the other half of the repetition will be other breath. And then maybe something like on the standing skull crushers, I'll do 3 reps for one part of a breath. But basically, most of the stuff is going to go. The first breath is going to be an out breath through the nose. The second repetition is going to be a hold, holding empty. The third repetition is going to be an inhale through the nose, and the fourth repetition is going to be an exhale through the nose. Actually, no, the fourth repetition is going to be a hold. And then the fifth repetition starts to cycle again. That's an exhale through the nose. So, wow, I screwed up that explanation. But and sometimes in certain exercises where it feels conducive, it might be half the repetition will be part of the breath, like in the rollers. And then, and just doing it till I kind of feel it, just kind of making that breathing cycle a little bit more concrete. And, breathing cycle first, communication with my muscles second, then kind of get that communication going. If I go past, let's say 20 reps, which would be in 5 breaths in most situations, I might want to start thinking about upping the weight. But I think just doing this is going to feel good. It's going to signal to my body some interesting things. And for some silly reason, I really believe in this breath cycle. And I believe in it so much that, 2 concepts I really believe in. And one concept is consistency over intensity, which has been lacking as of late. And the second concept is somehow syncing my movement in with these phases of breath. I think there might be something special there, but I don't have the body to prove it yet. And part of that is, let's get that consistency. Let's check that box, and then we can tick that empty box of the breath after that. So all those things, video evidence of this working or not working. Hey, it'd be a shame if it doesn't work, but at least it'll be, part of the situation. And like I said, that extra oomph is sometimes after I do a workout like this, I think a couple hours later, I might want to do a whole bunch of just one thing, like something that really works the chest or the back or something back and forth. One thing I'm thinking about as a challenge is lowering my incline bench. See if I can make sure it's like at a 30% angle, if I can figure that out, get that at that 30% angle, and really focusing on chest with that, getting into the chest, and using my cable, be able to switch out my cable out and do one arm at a time, just this kind of sideways cable across the chest type thing, and then just bouncing a couple sets of those back and forth. That might be a fun challenge. Okay, so that being said, I know it's silly. It's like some people do 5 or 6 exercises for a chest workout, and I'm in that same boat. Usually when I was doing my Monday, Wednesday, Friday stuff, or actually the Friday was more, I think, intensely on the chest. But yeah, it was 5 exercises, upper body, all that kind of stuff. But, oh well. Also, I'm doing my push-ups when I don't have access to the push-up bars. I'm doing more and more push-ups instead of my hands being flat. Just doing a fist, and sometimes doing like a claw type thing. Give me an extra bit of elevation so I can drop down just a little bit more, before my chest or chin or whatever's lowest, belly maybe, touches the ground. And I don't want to make that, a touch that gets rid of the tension in the body. Don't want to rid myself of too much tension. Don't want to make it a rest break. Okay, that all being said, a lot of thoughts about the stuff, and I could probably talk forever about it, but hey, I've already talked for 9 minutes, so these are the ideas, these are the changes. I'm going to sum it up with consistency over intensity, backed up by really getting into this breath cycle, and probably not doing multiple sets, just doing all the exercises, single set, till I can feel a little bit of a little less than comfortable. How about that? All right, starting out with stretches, and then after all this thing, the bonus is possibly talking a little bit and maybe a breathing exercise. Sitting in my favorite little corner. Anyway, which is not really a corner. It is a corner, but when you say sitting in the corner, you're not actually in the corner. You're on the outside of the corner. So, but that's my little spot to do breathing exercises. It seems it's a good spot for that. All right, this is a pretty good angle. I'll probably get most of the stuff in. All right, let's see what all good stuff I can get done in this stretching first. Relatively sure that's it. It's funny, this spot's only really for calf raises. I think that was everything. Gonna check, gonna see. There we go. I was going to show the screen this, but I won't. I'll just read through it. 37 minutes of a workout. I'm going to go ahead and end the workout. Done. Okay, that was the workout. 37 minutes. Most of my body. Feel like my legs not getting the best, but I also plan on possibly doing some walking in a few hours. At least a mile, possibly as many as 7. Somewhere between a quarter mile and 7 miles. But I'm really gonna try to get at least a mile in. Weird position to sit in right here. Things feel kind of good and bad at the same time. Right, right. All right. So there's part of me during that workout, especially during the chin up and the pull up part, where I was like pathetic. But then I realized I did 0 yesterday. And what I did today was way better than 0, even if it's just 1. And I certainly felt it, and that's probably one of the most important things. Feel it. Dip that pinky toe right into that cold water of discomfort. Get used to it. Feel my back kind of twitching too. That's interesting. Just felt it for a second. Like twitch, and it was gone. All right, so I want to go through. Did I do pull-ups? Yes. Did I do incline bench? Yes. Did I do squats? Yes. Leg extensions? Yes. Leg contractions? Yes. Chest machine? I don't remember, but I think I did. I did flies before I did chest machine. Changed the order on that. Changed the order on a lot of things, and I'm going to constantly change the order, I guess. Pull downs, reverse flies, yes. Dips, I think I only did 1, but did the rocket chair right before that. Curls and skull crushers, yes, right here. Chin ups, yeah, over there. Rollers, yes. Planks. Plank is just an excuse for me to play around with breathing in a plank position. So yes, I did that. Calf raises, ended up with that. I finally was doing all sorts of breathing patterns. I was doing like 4 to breathe out and 2 hold, and all sorts of things. And I tried to stabilize it with 3 on each part. Turns out I ended up stabilizing with 2. So I'd breathe out. By the end there, I was exhaling, doing 2 reps. I was holding empty while doing 2 reps. I was inhaling while doing 2 repetitions, and I was holding full while doing 2 repetitions. So that was kind of fun. That seems to be a good rhythm for that. Grips, I play around with the idea of doing at least 10 grips per breath cycle, but didn't really get fully into that. Full leg and knee ups, that's really going to be part of the stretch out, so I'm not going to revisit that. I'm just going to do more on the stretch out, whatever feels uncomfortable, even in the beginning stretch out thing. Military press, yes. Might do more weight and just do single arms sometime. Gonna up the weight on that a little bit more so that when I'm doing the single arm rows, single arm bent over rows where I'm stabilizing my back with my opposite, left. If the right side is lifting, my left side has my knee and my elbow kind of balancing each other. So my elbow is firmly planted on my knee, giving me good stability, a good framework for lifting that weight with my right hand, and vice versa on the single arm row.
So did that in here, but really should up the weight on that. Another reason to up the weight on that. Also, it's not written on here, but I want to do more of them anyway because that lower back. As long as I'm doing a single set and I'm doing it till I'm kind of barely feel discomfort, and I remember to move my behind backwards. So I move my butt backwards during the course of that. It's going to be good for that Romanian deadlift. So that's going to be good, adding that into the mix. All right, let's see, did I do push-ups? Yes, I did push-ups. Did I do push-downs using my back? Yes, that's standing push-downs using the back, standing push-downs using my triceps. Yeah, did both of those. Bent back lifts, tried that over here for the first time. That was what I was talking about. Bent back, single arm rows, single arm back rows, I guess, or whatever. Lateral raises and frontal raises. It felt good getting those out right at the beginning. Nice lightweight. Doing a tip where I'm turning my arms just a little bit. Also turning my arms a little bit on the incline press too. Getting that kind of angle in there so I can push into the center a little bit more. Doing something similar, bending my arms, my elbows a little bit so I'm not feeling it in my joints so much when I do the lateral raises. Also nice lightweight, but it's still easy for me to feel it. So even with that lightweight, it's easy to go to a place of discomfort with that. Doesn't take too long. When it starts taking too long, I'm going to start upping the weight. Frontal raises, same thing. And that is it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I already know the answer is 27. 24, 25. Whoa. Is it? Did I just read this wrong? It should be 27. All right, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Yeah, it's 27 different exercises. Now 28, now that I include that Romanian deadlift in there. Also, not really an exercise, but using the Gazelle to establish a breathing pattern of basically 4 steps on the Gazelle. Inhale, 4 steps hold, 4 steps exhale, 4 steps hold. That's kind of fun with the 4 steps. So yeah, we got this. The Infinite Notebook is doing its job. Writing down the good things, also cutting down a lot of the writing. No, I'm cutting down the prep work, so all I have to do is turn the camera on, basically have that written out, and man, it feels so good to sneeze when you're not out in public, not have to stifle it, just let it go. Whew. Oh. It's like there's a parade in my head of the dead. I miss my buddy Red. That gets me thinking about my cat, gets me thinking about my mom, gets me thinking about my aunt, gets me thinking about a whole bunch of folks up in Canada that, like, if I go up there, 2 major close relatives, maybe 4, I could maybe think of 10 people. I could probably show up at their doorstep and be welcomed. Actually, Canada's pretty friendly in a lot of ways, unless you're talking about boaters. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Canada's pretty friendly. Probably knock on a lot of people's doors, but there's at least 2 I'm sure of. 3 I'm sure of, yeah. And maybe up to 10 maybe would welcome me with open arms into their house, which I don't know is necessarily a good metric of, but a long time ago there was a lot more than that. A lot of family that has gone to the other side, that has died. So yeah, I think about one person who's died, and for years, it's been almost 10 years since my mom died, and I can't say I quite think of her every day, but the first 5 years, it was probably close to 90% of every day those years. And now it's gone back to that, and in some ways that's a good thing. It makes me appreciate my life more. It makes me try to become a better human being, and part of being a better human being is doing this, and really kind of if I can pass anything along after I die, maybe this and these little talks and all this kind of stuff. Maybe there's somebody out there that cares. Probably not, but I mean, there's so much information out there, but I could see one person finding this and just being like, oh, this guy's already gone and passed. Look what he did. He talked about a lot of things, and oh wow, I have some of those weird thoughts too, and maybe I'm not alone. Wow, I wish that dude was alive. I'd be friends with him, and hopefully I will be alive. I am looking into and still steadily optimistic about revitalization treatments that will fix, knock 10 years back on your age, and I think those are at least 20 years away, and knock that 10 back, and within 5 years it gets better. Knock another 10 back, bring myself back to 30-year-old, 28-year-old me. Why not? 28 was a good year. Get myself back to 28. But in some ways I'm stronger than I was in 28, believe it or not. Although I'm not like any great titan of strength, but there's certain exercises and certain things I can do better now that I could not do that good back then. Strangely enough, and today it was not an indicator of that performance. I kind of want to blame the iced coffee I drank last night. I don't really drink coffee too often. And caffeine and sugar right there, iced coffee. It was mint mocha. I was going to take a 32-ounce glass of that stuff, and it started running out about 1/4 full, and then I switched to vanilla, and I got maybe another eighth of the cup. By the time I was done with the cup, this huge 32-ounce cup, I had it, it looked like it was half full, but the bottom is a lot slimmer than the top, so it's about maybe at best 1/3 full. Still paid full price for it, I think. I'm not sure. The guy might have noticed. He might have charged me for a soda instead. I was going to say something to it, but the dude was really cool. And there was a lot of people behind me, and the price for convenience and just being a good guy, like seeing that video. I'm soon going to read that book about ownership and the way that nebulous zones on airline flights when you're in economy class, like the seat reclining back and the seat going forward. Whose space is that? Is that the space of the person in the seat, or is it the space of the person up front? And supposedly it's a psychological tactic. It's ambiguous, purposefully ambiguous by the airlines, because they want people to further desire bigger seats, further desire, what would it be called? First class, and that stuff. I'm thinking with like better building materials, you could just build way bigger planes. And instead of getting every square inch of just, have a whole, like everybody gets their little cabin on this huge but super ultralight plane made out of materials that are just ridiculously, stupidly strong. And like having the wings and have the engines just be, overly engineered. So like the idea of this thing crashing and falling apart is just stupid. It's ludicrous. Who knows? Maybe a plane with a compartment on top of the plane that is nothing but hot air, for lack of a better term. Something that not like hydrogen, nothing flammable. I don't think helium's flammable, but nothing like helium up there, and just have this huge space. Like use space to your advantage. So it's just like this amazingly floating thing. It's big, thick wings and made out of really, really ultra dense but thin materials in certain spots, and thin and then ultra dense and thin and ultra dense, and have this thing that's could probably be engineered to be almost crash proof, the super glider of the way. Because you got to think about it. If a glider was this big, it would be really heavy. But since it's so big, for its size, it's very light. So, like over-engineering a glider with engines attached to it, make it a super huge plane with, it can't carry that much weight, but it has a lot of room to distribute that weight. And everybody gets their own little cabin with their own little bathroom, and their own little door to close in and follow their own little bed, and that would be awesome. People could basically go and just ditch out, and in the long run it might be less money. Who knows? I could be 100% wrong about this idea. And then if you have that plane, like if you try to, the plane won't be able to carry like per pound per square inch of the plane versus per pound per square inch of a conventional plane. Like this thing has no lift, but when you realize just how big it is, it's like, oh, the lift, and everybody gets their own little room. And the way it's divided up is by the weight of the plane. It's just like, someone stands on a pad. It doesn't show their weight. It doesn't show the weight of them and their stuff, but they carry their stuff on there, and everything in the cargo in the bottom is weighed out and has its own room, but is kind of bungeed down on this bottom cargo area, and so that bungeed down in a way that it just doesn't move, and you use that base of that to redistribute the weight on the plane, and passengers get in and a light lights up and they go to that spot in the plane, and another light lights up and they go into that little closable cubicle type situation with a little bed that's convertible to a lounge chair and little bathroom area. So I think that would just be so cool to have your own little bathroom area on there, like maybe a second chair that converts or something like that. You just lift the thing and sit on it. That way also with people, it's free to fly with an infant if you have the infant on your lap, but you have that situation where you can bring in a car seat, have that infant there. It would be a lot better. Also soundproof that thing. Those rooms would make them almost soundproof, especially if you have your noise canceling headphones on. You're not hearing babies crying or anything like that. Flying would be a lot more enjoyable that way. I mean, part of the reasons I avoid flying is any longer than 3 hours stuck like this, even though I'm in this position, I don't like the feeling I feel for up to 2 days afterwards. One time it was 2 days. So, and sometimes I've been lucky. Somehow I've just felt nothing after a decent a long plane ride. I don't know. Maybe it was something in the seats or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, airline flights. Whew. Just crossing my fingers, hoping battery technology gets lighter and better. Get some super battery technology out there, and create these huge planes. And part of the reason they're so big is they have these huge wings that are just energy collectors right near the sun, just above the clouds, collecting that electricity. Not creating chemtrails, and I don't know. I never thought of chemtrails as the thing. A friend of mine said, "Oh, you're not one of those chemtrails conspiracy guys, are you?" And I didn't even know about it. And I don't know. I haven't investigated it enough, but my knee-jerk reaction is whatever. Which probably shouldn't be, but am I the most concerned citizen in the world about stuff? I'm breathing, certain things are going okay. That's good. Doing what my little bit to help out a few folks every now and then. If nothing else, be my little bit, what little I can do. I think those little things add up, though. Certainly think if I do a few little things, maybe it's a good example to a few other folks, do a few other little things. And I'm thinking, I almost believe that everybody's doing a few little things. I could be wrong, and I probably am, but there's a optimistic part of me that's thinking everybody's doing a few little things to make life a little bit better for both themselves and others. The less people starving, the less people that want to mug you for food. And that is kind of scary when you put that, argument against like the wealth, misdistribution. And I think there's ways we can create a system that would, technology, everything you want, everything you need at the touch of a button. I think that's my kind of shorthand heuristic for what technology wants, and getting better at creating that for everybody. Creating those critical mass moments. Oh man, I can think of really creative ways that could happen, and everybody's life gets a little bit better. 30 years from now, the idea of working at a job you don't want to work at for more than 10 hours a week is going to seem insane. And yeah, there's going to be people signing up for suffering. There's going to be classes in how to suffer in different ways, and it'll be an exotic experience, almost like the extreme fitness classes and boot camps and all that, fitness boot camps and hot yoga and all that kind of stuff. Like, the idea of hot yoga sickens me. The idea of just being too hot grosses me out. I get too hot in there. And funny thing is, sometimes when I get too hot, I get silly. I definitely got that in there. I just want to sit there and kind of laugh for a bit. and I think I know what's going on. Just like that, yeah, you just sweat to the point where like your blood pressure's kind of changing as a result. Oh man, and it just unleashes something interesting. So it's like it's a nice place to visit. Wouldn't want to live there, but there's part of me that wants to do an experiment. Put out a mat right there, see if I can get a nap for 2 hours and just not on the concrete obviously, but just on a little mat, and see how it feels just sweating it out, and then wash off the mat and wash off myself. And, you know, a good, not necessarily the sweat tent, but you know, same kind of feeling, only without as much camaraderie and more dreams, I guess, or maybe less dreams. Wow. All right, so that was my talking bit. So much more is running through my mind. I have feelings like there's just, you know, reservoirs of things I'm leaving out, and I know there is. But at the same time, if I watched this, I would probably be tired of myself talking by now. So here we go as far as breathing exercises. I'm going to try to do 30 breaths. I'm going to do the counting method using my fingers and knuckles. So I'll use both hands, but both hands are going to be counting the same thing. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. And then back upwards, 5, 6, 7. So each finger is 7. Thumb are the counters. Tip 1, first knuckle, or I guess second knuckle, depends on how you count it. But first knuckle for this purpose is 2, second knuckle, 3, base of the finger. Not trying to get in the base of the finger, but on the side's good enough. Just basically touching either that flesh pad or somewhere around that flesh pad near the side. Near the edge is fine for the, pointer finger. That's 4. Second knuckle again. Going back up the finger. Second knuckle's 5. First knuckle 6. Tip again 7. Switch tips. Go through. Get 28. Here's 29. Here's 30. So full fist 29. Full open hand 30. That is how to count to 30 using my fingers while breathing. And I might even try to visualize the numbers. I might even try to have them say out loud in my head. More likely, I'll be listening to my breath, trying to do all through the nose, kind of fast, kind of deep. Not super deep, not super fast, but just kind of. Gonna do that cycle 3 times. After the first time, exhale on that 30th breath. Hold empty for a little while. Then breathe in. Do about 15 seconds worth of holding in after I breathe in. So breathe in real deep, hold for 15 seconds, which I'm going to try to count fast. So I'm going to try to count in half seconds, and I'll probably count to about 30. Hopefully that'll be 15. I'll even do the like a mark, like a point. And this means I'm starting to count. And I'm going to see if my fast count of 30 equals 15 seconds. So that's another purpose of this video. First time I do that, like I said, 30 breaths, hold empty for as long as till slightly uncomfortable, I guess, or maybe very uncomfortable. Who knows what my tolerance is today. But I'm going to go for slightly uncomfortable. And then do that big inhale, hold for 15, go back into the 30 breaths, hold empty till slightly uncomfortable or maybe a little bit more. Then do 2 deep breaths to 15. Same cycle again. Hold my breath, 30 breaths. Hold empty on the 30th, at the end of the 30th breath. And then do 3 deep holds, 15 seconds each. So that's how I'm stacking it. I'm gonna have fun like that. Stacking it like that. Gonna move my back a little bit. Maybe I won't even put my back on this. Maybe this almost feels like a good position. Yeah, I'll do like this, just lean up against my shin, switch it out the second time. This seems like a good position. And then I'll do something different on the third, balance it out in a different way. Here we go. Okay, that's it with that cycle. Felt pretty good in some ways. Hopefully in the video I can see myself actually counting with the fingers. I think at least in the second one, I might have skipped a couple knuckles. That's a possibility. On my second finger, I think I might have just skipped, or my first finger, I think I might have just skipped all the way up to the tip and then switched. So that's a possibility, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. It was still a good experience. At least I think it is. I'm liking to think this stuff has value. Even the placebo effect is real. What happens if you stack 30 placebo effects? I had a dream about that once. I was on a cruise ship of miracle cures, and all of them were baloney. All of them were Boulder Dash. All of them were false. Supposedly knowingly so. They shouldn't have worked. But we had people, there was a lot involved in this dream, but one of the parts, and I had a daughter in this dream. That was pretty amazing. We won't even go into that. Like, I didn't know I had a daughter, but she was 10 years old, and she had to be flown over by a girl that became a high-priced call girl. I think she started in Dubai, and then she went to the United Arab Emirates, and she had some sort of information or something. Somebody needed to protect her daughter. Somebody figured out I was the father. Some bizarre genetic testing went on underneath, unknown to my knowledge, and got approached. Hey, can you take a week or two off of work? I'm like, no, I'm on the cruise ship. And the cruise ship was dedicated to stacking placebos for people that had no other option, people that were just certainly going to die within the next 30 days. It was a weird society too. It was like, what they would do is they would find people that were on death's door. They would invite them and anybody they wanted, their whole family if needed to be, on the cruise ship, and just to have this super positive experience before dying. But part of the positive experience was you could take place in all these quote-unquote miracle cures, and you can do any of them that you wanted to. And they were all set up in a certain way, and mine was like this belief system. Like, I was almost like a preacher of some sort. And I didn't believe what I was selling, but I believed in the placebo effect, and I believed I could get certain people into my congregation to believe too. And it was all about joy, and breathing exercises were actually a part of it, but not the major part. It was a function of how you thought, and it was creating a systematic maze of thoughts that you would draw out, but you know the maze so well that you wouldn't need to draw out your two-dimensional maze, gradually becoming a three-dimensional maze of thoughts that you would navigate, and only you, because you're the only person that's lived your life, would be able to get through this maze and intrinsically make that to yourself. And by deeply understanding your possible motivations, it's just like, if you don't know why you did something, one of our instincts as humankind is to establish a reason after the fact. Well, realize that, like, in this belief system, all of these reasons are, almost all the reasons you think of something are reasons after the fact, and finding this hidden motive power behind everything you're doing. It was a really cool spiel, and I'm not doing any, barely doing it any justice in here, but I was on that spiel. I was preaching to people. I was getting them to believe. I was getting them to create their mazes, and eventually we would use virtual reality goggles, and they would create their mazes. We had all sorts of programs and different things and different experiences and excerpts from their life and drawings and all these things. It was just this amazing process. And it wasn't like day one, do this, day two. It was as deep as you can go into this. How far can you get through the workbook type thing? And some people only went part way and just forget about it. But by the time you put in that sunk cost, you wanted to believe it was worth something. And I believe just the believing it was worth something stacked made that placebo far more effective. And I knew it was placebo, but I created this really in-depth, the process itself was almost a maze. Creating the maze of your life and going through the maze of your life in retrospect and changing some of the reasons why you did things, because it's your choice. You can change the meaning of your life at any point, even retroactively. and just playing around with that, creating that maze, and that equals a left turn here or a right turn here, and just creating this wonderful thing. Really making that thing, and finalization, you get the virtual reality, and you get that, and then finally you don't need the virtual reality, you can think of it at any time, you can go through all the stuff. It was really just activating your brain, and plus certain diets that certain people were doing, and all these different things, and some of them may have not been placebo, but it was the idea that everybody was different, and certain things will work on certain people, and that's why the ship had so many different things. It's like, we have all these different things, and at least one of them will work on you. And the idea is, if you're engaged in 30 different placebos, there were more than 30 on the ship, but the most a person could do within 30 days is probably 30, if they had 30 days to live. But one of those things was going to have a positive effect upon your life, as long as you chose the right one. And there was the paradox of choice in there, and all that kind of stuff. And different people had their family helping them. So if they didn't have their family helping, they had like their own personal concierge kind of helping them guide through. And this was all funded by just mysterious donations, I guess I should say. But that would be one of I have 2 or 3 dream jobs, and besides condom tester, that's probably one of them. Analog condom tester, I guess, probably be the more. Got to define that one right. I don't want to be a guy just sticking condoms onto a machine. Yeah, that one works. Don't want to be that type of condom tester. I want to get very analog with it. Anyway, so yeah, that dream was amazing. I don't know why I'm talking about that right now. Let's see if I can backtrack this thought process. So, talking about the dream, cruise ships, jobs. No, it wasn't about jobs. We can strike that. I didn't get to that tangent from that. I got to breathing exercises. Breathing exercises were a part of it, but that was not the string, the thread that led me there. Let's see what it was, because this will wrap up interestingly. And just analyzing my own mind in real time, just like the mazes in some ways. Was it the thing about the daughter? Nope, the daughter had nothing to do with that. She was pretty awesome, by the way, though. Anyway, yeah, it almost makes me want to have kids, that dream right there. Let's see here, almost. I think there's enough people in the world. Let's take care of the ones we got first. But hey, if I could ever have the pleasure of meeting every single person in the world and discover that there's just one type of person missing, maybe it would be my duty as a citizen of the world to create that other type of person that the world is missing. All right. Something about breathing, something about understanding. Wow, I'm at a loss. Placebo effect? Yeah. Even if this breathing stuff I'm doing right now is a placebo effect, me choosing to believe in it, even with a healthy amount of skepticism, maybe this is nothing. And like, if proven that this is nothing, it's not gonna destroy my world. It'll be like, okay, that makes sense. Like, as long as it's proven in a way like, okay, that makes sense, where I can feasibly, realistically say that without humoring to somebody that just has an agenda, or is building a case for some reason. Yeah, so that's what it was about. It was about placebo effect. So I'm glad I'm doing this. I believe that this is a good experience. And, sometimes people ask, hey, how are you doing? Great. Why do you feel great? Well, I try to work pretty hard to feel great. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but I'm working pretty hard at it. Paying attention to my thoughts, letting certain thoughts spend some time in my head, letting certain other thoughts, I escort those thoughts to the door, and the easiest way to get them to the door is you only have room for so many thoughts in your head, so try to focus on the stuff that serves me, not me serving my thoughts. Don't want to be a slave to my thoughts. I want my thoughts to serve me. And the one area in my life where I have a large amount of autocracy is within my own mind. And I think it's quite a shame and quite a painful thing when you lose a lot of the autocracy of your own mind. In other words, feeling great, because I choose to. Work hard at it. All right. A lot of stuff there, a lot of stuff to think about. At some point, I almost want this stuff, like I said, I want some of the stuff I'm doing to work, and that means I got to turn that consistency dial a little bit harder. I have to check that box more regularly. But wouldn't it be cool if this stuff actually worked? If some of this method of breathing, I already know that works for some people, but having it can work concretely for me, and work the other bit about the 4 cycles of breath, combining that with working out, having that do an amazing thing. I feel pretty energized right now. Matter of fact, I'm still a couple hours away from eating, but I think I'm going to go over to my dad's house and see if he wants to do that walk with me, see if I can get him to walk for anywhere from 5 minutes to 45 minutes. Who knows, maybe an hour. I don't know what he's up for. Yeah, that's going to be good. Also got to do my laundry, which will take about 2 hours. So get that started and set up and all that kind of stuff. Feeling good in a lot of ways, though. Goodness be. Let it go and let it be me. Whew, excuse me. Should I really excuse myself for burping? Probably not. Well, it's been 1:30. That's a good amount of time. Nice spending time with you. If you chose to spend time with me, if you got all the way through this, congratulations. I hope you consider yourself, you won the prize of spending 1.5 hours in this situation. Hopefully, if you did that double speed, and you got something good out of it. Do I expect anybody to get to this point? Absolutely not. But just in case you did, thank you. I hope I've given something. Hopefully you could say thank you, and I could say you're welcome, and then we could say later it shall be.